Hello golfers, Eric Brzezinski here, day 10 of our 30-day practice plan. Today we're going to do one of my favorite drills. It's a nice little, what I call the flow drill. First, some education, of course. Bad golfers do one of two things. We're talking about the pelvis, or if I say the lower center, I mean the lower rotational center, which is kind of in the middle of your pelvis. And if I say your torso or chest or sternum, or upper rotational center or upper center, I'm talking about the point kind of right in between my shoulders, internal to my body, right in there. The two centers about which our hips rotate or our shoulders kind of rotate. Bad golfers do one of two things typically. A lot of bad golfers that we see will do a lot of what we call swaying. So they won't turn much, but they'll sway back like this, and that hip moves way back, several inches. And they'll get like this. They often won't turn very far because they can't turn their hips as if their hips are mostly going this way. So they'll get like this. We see that from a lot of golfers who think that I need to move back this way so I can move forward this way, which is true, but they overdo it and do it not quite the right way. Another thing that we see from golfers who have kind of figured out that it helps them achieve better contact than the swaying is we'll see golfers who will extend this right leg too much too soon, or too much or too soon, and they'll keep their weight way too far forward during the backswing. So we'll see golfers that look like this, right? That's a little exaggerated. Other golfers with just their hips will do that. So they'll go like this. So they're staying forward with just their hips, even though their body mass might be relatively centered. So this, and oftentimes something like that. Okay, neither of which are great. A centered backswing is a good way to think of what we are trying to accomplish here. Neither of these do that. This sends a bunch of weight and pressure that way. This, your mass might be centered, but your pressure isn't, and then you have nowhere to go from here. So neither are quite what we want from a centered backswing or relatively centered backswing. Okay, the elite players have a little bit of flow. What I mean by that is their lower center and their upper center on the backswing will actually move back just a little bit, 1 to 2 inches, often literally just 1 inch will move back. As their arms start to get up toward here, they'll start to actually recenter. Both the upper and lower center will go forward. In fact, what we see from a lot of players is the upper center actually leads a little bit, fraction of an inch. It's not like they're tipping way out like this, but they'll go back a little bit, start to fall forward, and then the hips will take over and finish out in front of the upper center like that. So that little bit of flow, I'll do it one more time. They go back about an inch, both the upper and lower center. As their arms start to peak right here around 3, they'll start to recenter with their upper center almost leading the way. And then the hips go very, very quickly on the downswing so they get their weight and pressure on that front foot. Okay, so the upper and lower center go back an inch, maybe 2. Then they go forward that same inch, maybe another 1 more than that. And then the hips go. So the drills for today are pretty simple, okay? The first drill you're gonna do is 3 minutes, and it goes like this. You have a ball here. I'm gonna hit these at slow speed so you can see what we're doing. But you're gonna set up to the golf ball like normal. Then you're gonna put your your back foot by your front foot. You're gonna put the club head in front of the ball. What you're gonna do then is make a little swing forward. As you swing back, you're gonna step. And then as you hit it, make sure you're conscious of that flow going back and then falling forward, right? You're gonna fall forward that little bit. I liken it to when you're a kid in the bathtub and you're kind of moving your body back and forth and you're making the waves go back and forth in the bathtub. So as the wave goes back, you start forward just that little bit before the wave goes forward. Another way is when you're on a swing set, you kick your legs back or forward before you reach the actual peak, just before. So just before you reach the peak, you want to actually start forward to let that wave kind of crash down on the ball. So in motion, it'll look like this. Set up normally, bring that back foot forward and put the club head in front of the ball. Okay, swing forward, step back, and hit it. So again, it'll look like this. Good? Okay, so do that for 3 minutes. The next drill I want you to do then is a little bit of a step up from that, no pun intended, because we're going to actually step twice. Okay, so it's a little bit more complicated, but we're going to take our front foot, bring it back a little bit, put our back foot there. Okay, so we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and then we're going to step forward. So it really makes you unweight that front foot. Make sure you unweight it early. You unweight it almost right there as you're swinging back so you can swing forward, okay? Now, one trick to this, try to be conscious to not take like a massive step back and then a massive step forward. Try to limit your steps to just what feels like a few inches. Okay, so basically set up normally, front foot in, back foot in. Okay, it doesn't matter how you hit it. You're swinging over the top of the ball and then trying to go from there. Just matters, try to feel what your body's kind of flowing back, up, down, and falling forward, okay? The last 2 minutes, so 3 minutes of the first one, 2 minutes of that second one. The last 2 minutes today, I want you to find what we call your trigger. Because in these drills, you're doing this, your trigger is building a little momentum that way and stepping that way. In a real golf swing, on the golf course, you're not going to have that. You're probably not going to play like by swinging there and going back. You're probably going to start by setting up and starting from a regular address position. So whether your trigger is to go like that and sway back, I'm using the word sway, but again, it's an inch or so. So this and then that to kind of help propel the club back and up. Whether it's like some people will bounce their knees and then go. Other people will feel like almost like the chest goes back a little bit. I don't necessarily like that one for a lot of people because it tends to leave the hips in this forward position, but it might work for you. Some other people might feel like just a little, just pushing the handle forward a little bit helps them react backward. Gary Player famously did the knee kick, right? He did a little bit of that to help him go back. So spend 2 minutes finding a trigger that works for you and going ahead and finishing the backswing. For me, it's usually a little soft little bounce. I almost feel like a little bit of pressure spikes in that left foot so that I can rebound back this way. But find the trigger that works for you, and I'll see you again tomorrow.